What's up, everybody? Welcome back into another EWE Reviews. Today we're going to be talking about Star Trek Picard, Season 3, Episode 3. Before we get into that, just a normal thing. Guys, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, let me know what you guys want me to review next. Right now, trying to figure out what movies are going to be next for me to review. Not sure if there's a really slow streak about to start, so we'll see. But right now, we'll keep going with a lot of shows. Finish off Last of Us, Mandalorian, and South Park, and Picard as well. So, let's go now talking about this episode. As usual, start of the episode is going to be spoiler-free, then we'll go into a spoiler section later in the episode. Alright, so, name of this episode is 17 Seconds, and it actually has a lot of significance. Episode was released on March 2nd, 2023. The cast, now this one I'm putting more people on it because more people are starting to show up. So, Patrick Stewart, Jerry Ryan, Michelle Hurd, Jonathan Frakes, Edsa Spelliers, Todd Stashwick, Amanda Plummer, Gates McFadden, and Michael Dorn. Those are the main cast. I'm probably missing someone else. But yeah, right now they're showing a lot of people. This episode has a runtime of 55 minutes. And as usual, I won't say any spoilers in the spoiler section for this episode, but I'm fair game on anything from the previous episode. So, in the last episode, the Titan has to now go into the nebula to try and outrun the Shriek. And we're trying to see what's going to happen with that. And on the other side, we have Raffi and Worf now trying to figure out what's going on, who's behind all these attacks, what is their main objective. And we're kind of going to weave things in there. There's going to be more about Jack's being Picard's son in here. We're finally going to get the face-to-face between Beverly and Picard. And trust me when I say right now, it is really good. I actually like the way they explained it and how at first you're going to see, oh, Beverly's a dick for not telling Picard about his son. But when you actually hear her reasoning, you're kind of like, kind of get it. But yeah, that's the basic plot of this episode. Now let me tell you my thoughts on the episode. I really enjoyed it so far. So we're on season 3 of Picard, and this is like around season 49 or 50 of Star Trek in total. And they have scenes in this where I'm still like, whoa, how is it that we've watched so much Star Trek and we're still seeing cool new ideas they come up with? Even after all these episodes, they're still coming up with new cool ideas. So right there, it's already like, I can't say as much as like Picard has turned things around in season 3. You go back and watch season 1 and 2, and I think most people would say it was kind of disappointing, but season 3, it has been up there. I would mark it right now is for the new Star Treks, I say Star Trek Picard season 3 and Strange New World season 1, top tier Star Trek for modern era. I'm not sure if it's reached the heights of, in my opinion, Deep Space Nine yet, or even and Voyager, which are my two favorite Star Trek shows, but it's up there. All right, and other things about this episode, I really like how we're making this season, it's very serialized. It's not episodic, where even though we have some episodic things in there, we're doing something for it's going to be a season-long arc. Each episode is still like, it's not like monster of the week at all. It's like, I'm really enjoying this aspect, the way that they're doing it. It's like, it's basically like a long movie. And the way the characters get their moments and things like that, I really enjoy. This episode has a scene with Riker and Picard in a way that we haven't seen before. And damn, it was really good. I'm just like, again, I said it for the last episode. I can't wait for episode 4 because they're doing such great things. I can't explain it right now. It's going really well. And then we find out what the 17 seconds stands for. And then it kind of hits you like, oh, wow, that's crazy. And there's some moments where some characters say some stuff where you're like, did he just go too far with what he just said? And like the Beverly and Picard talk, like it was great. I'm like, wow, what is going on with this episode of how much good stuff they're giving us? I'm very surprised, guys. I did not think Picard season 3 was going to come off the gates swinging like it is. But it's showing if you just stick to a good plan, things will work out. I didn't think Picard season 1 or 2 had good plans. Season 3 so far, great plan. There's a cool little Easter egg in there, guys. It's not really a spoiler, but you do see a little toy Voyager in there. It's really cool. To me, like I keep saying, I'm wanting Captain 7 of 9 for a spinoff. All right, so let's move on now to my score. I'm giving this episode a 9 out of 10 for amazing. I'm not sure what's going on. Picard right now is just giving me what I want, and it's doing it really well. So another 9 out of 10, amazing. So, would I recommend this episode? Hell yeah. Honestly, season 3 of Picard right now I'll just say, go watch it. It's really good. Easy as like one of the best seasons of Star Trek I've seen in a long time. Well, not in a long time. When we're talking about not shit. Okay. Because Star Trek Strange New Worlds is really good, but if I were to say take Strange New Worlds out of it and Lower Decks, is probably the best one. Strange New Worlds to me is the first. If I might go back and do a season 1 review, it's probably my only 10 out of 10 I can give for a series at the moment. All right, so that's my score. I definitely recommend you watch it. Let's move on now to the spoiler section, where I'm going to say the plot of the episode and talk a little bit about what I thought about these different plot points. So let's move on now to the first plot point. Actually, my bad, guys. So, like, going into the spoiler section, before we get there, if you're not joining us, thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you guys want me to review next. Next video should be maybe Creed 3. And I should have Last of Us on Tuesday and new South Park next week as well. And I just put out a new South Park episode. Please check that out. I really like it. It's about Japanese toilets. All right, so here's your spoiler warning, guys. We're going to the spoiler section. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's up, guys? Now we're in the spoiler section of the episode, where now I'm going to run you through what happens in the episode. So the start of the episode is them trying to run away from the Shriek. They do eventually get away from her, but you can tell, like, at the beginning, everyone's just like, crap, how are we gonna get away from her? How are we gonna get away from her? The Shriek is a massive ship that's a war machine. It is just a war machine. But eventually they do get away from her, and everyone's just like relieved for a second, but they know they might not, they don't know if they're gonna be able to stay away from her forever. All right, so now we actually get the title screen, and we do get this cool moment of a flashback between Picard and Riker years before, when Riker had just had Thaddeus, his oldest son, who passed away. And Riker even talks about the day he was born, how Diana's, and we do get a little Diana not cutscene, and she's in the flashback, so we just get a vision of her for a second. So then going back to what they're saying, the pregnancy, like at the end of it when she was going into labor, it wasn't smooth. So when she was in labor, and they even said like, oh, it's touch and go or whatever, Riker says that turbo lift to sickbay, he said it was the longest 17 seconds of his life, because he doesn't know what's happened to his son. And right there, just that idea of those 17 seconds is just foreshadowing what's going to happen later in the episode. So now Alondra, Geordi's daughter, she's been relieved of some command for the moment. Not relieved, but she's been sent to go get some rest because she's been on for like 30-something hours. So Shaw sends her out, and she goes talk to Seven. And when she's talking to Seven, she says, like, because right now Seven's kind of down on herself, but what she ends up telling her is like, hey, I know, like, a lot of people would think what you did was wrong because you went in there to go save your friends. And she even says, like, my dad's probably one of the people that would say, no, you did the right thing, like, go and save your friends. So I think it's encouraging her hearing that. I still feel like we're getting Captain 7 at some point, guys. Something just keeps telling me Captain 7, Captain 7. I don't see her going back to the Rangers. I feel like her place is in Starfleet. All right, so now we go to Beverly, who's in sickbay, and she's trying to help out people. She's doing the best job she can. But eventually she has to go talk to Picard. And they end up having a very interesting conversation about why she didn't tell Picard about Jack. And as much as I wanted to go in there being like, oh, Beverly's, it's like, her explanation is saying like, you're Jean-Luc Picard. Danger keeps following you everywhere. And she even said, like, she tried to tell him, but each time she even tried to tell him at the beginning, oh, something happened. Oh, then something else happened that almost dangerous. Like, oh, something else happened. And she kind of told herself, does she really want her son to know about his dad, where at any moment his dad could die? It's like, is that really a way to live? And I was just like, oh, crap. Like, the way she's describing, it's like, Jean-Luc, he wouldn't have given up being a captain. Even though he's like, you took this choice away from me. It's like, dude, but kind of like when we're talking about the Raffi stuff in the previous episodes of like, their duty comes first. As much as they love their families, their duty comes first, because their duty also involves their family. What they do can affect their families. So in that aspect as well, I'm like, I think Beverly made the right move. And then she did say Jack did know at a certain age who Picard was, and Jack still chose not to see him. And they did clear up one thing. So you know how Jack has an accent, And Picard asked him, what about his accent? And he said, oh, he went to school in London. So they kind of found a way of being like, yeah, people are going to be saying, like, why does he have an accent? It's like, there's your answer why he has the accent. I thought it was a cool little thing to put in there, so just wanted to mention that, guys. And while this is happening, Riker's talking to Jack, and they have a cool little moment right there where Riker even tells him, like, because a lot of people are looking at Jack like they're pissed off at Jack because they're in the situation because of him. And he even says, like, you need to give them a reason not to be mad at you. Like, you need to show them that you were worth saving. So that was pretty cool. But then Picard seems like he's been a little bit hurt about finding out that Jack did know about him and that he didn't even try to seek him out. And Riker tells him, like, hey, you need to talk to him. That's your son. You don't know, like, what your last conversation with him will be, because he's still thinking about what happened with Thaddeus. And, like, his son's dead. He's like, you don't want to waste this opportunity. So yeah, that happens. They end up going back to the bridge. They get attacked by the Shriek again, and Shaw's been injured. Now, I'm not sure if he did this on purpose to cause some trouble or not, but he puts Riker in control. And that definitely changes things for, like, it was weird to put Riker in command of the Titan right there. Because I'm like, oh, you have Picard right there, but he seems like Shaw might still be mad at Picard, even though when you really think about it, whose idea was it to take the Titan? It was Riker's. So yeah, so now going back to what's going on, they end up having a plan to get rid of the Shriek, and it's actually a pretty cool plan. So they shoot a torpedo out, but the torpedo isn't set to explode or anything. They shoot it with the phaser while it's near them, and the concussion blast ends up throwing the Shriek away from them. It was really cool to see, guys. I really enjoyed it. All right, so now that we saw that cool torpedo shot, we go back to Raffi. Actually, now this is where we start with Raffi in the episode. Raffi is waking up after being out in the last episode after getting drugged. And she ends up running in, like, Worf's there with her. She doesn't know who he is at first. She tries to, like, get a blaster. He takes it away from her, and then he tells her who she is. And it's just really cool. Like, they have a cool dynamic. I actually like watching them. They have a cool scene later on that I'll talk about. But we'll talk about it there when we get there. They do seem like they're going to be working together to try and find out what happened. So let's go back to Riker and Picard. And Riker wants to get everyone out of the nebula, away from the Shriek. He wants to get back in the Federation space. That's currently his plan. Remember, guys, we're still outside of Federation space, so there's nothing the Federation can do at the moment to even get to them. And because of where they're at, they don't have communications. But Picard wants to fight while Riker wants to leave. And this is where I'm saying, like, this is a cool dynamic, because we haven't been in a situation where Riker's the one in charge and Picard's the other person. Like, he's the first officer right now. And it's crazy. I've never seen, like, we haven't seen this version of it. And they do butt heads now that Riker's in command. Luckily, okay, so now we go back to sickbay where Beverly's at, so is Jack. And what ends up happening is that Shaw's in a lot of pain. The doctor that's there, she missed something, but when Beverly went back, she kind of figured out what's wrong with him. So I'm hoping this means that they actually are able to save his life. So now that Riker's in command, they got the warp speed back up. They're going to try and get out of the nebula and warp out. The Shriek knows where it's at, and the Shriek does this cool thing where it fires that weapon where it's basically like a portal. If you've ever seen Portal, the game, where you shoot a portal somewhere and then it opens up somewhere else and you can put where people are going. What they basically do, the Shriek does, is it fires it out. They are not trying to destroy the Titan from what I'm seeing. They just want to get the Titan back in there. They shoot the Titan, the portal thing. Titan goes through it, and even though they think they're about to leave the nebula, they're back in it again. And it's like, it was a really cool scene. Like I said, Star Trek's doing some cool stuff this season. All right, so now let's go back to Worf and Raffi, and they found the guy who they think is involved in the whole situation. They're chasing him. Raffi's like, I'm losing him, and then Worf grabs him and he just throws him down. It was like, oh damn, Worf's been watching WWE. All right, so they end up getting him, and then we end up going back to the Titan, and Jack is trying to go talk to the captain or whatever, but he ends up not being able to get on the bridge, so he ends up talking to Seven instead, and he kind of asks her about her time with the Rangers, because he's like, you guys were able to detect ships in ways that you wouldn't have these fancy sensors that the Titan has. There's like, then he's like, they're in the nebula with us, they're using some type of thing. And Seven then ends up finding out what they're using, and they go into another room, and they actually do find out, yeah, there's a leak going on, and it sounds like there's someone in the ship that's a mole, and they're trying to stop them. So let's keep going back, and Picard and Riker are now arguing because Picard wants to fight, but Riker doesn't want to fight. Riker just wants to get the people out. And now here's where before I used to talk crap about Shaw, and now I'm seeing like even Riker's now starting to act like Shaw. It's like, no, we got to protect everyone on the ship. We need to get out. This isn't time for a fight. We're going to take heavy losses if we try to fight. All right, and then we jump back to Jack, who's waiting for Seven to turn something on to get that leak covered up. And Jack is attacked by someone. And the person's face changes, and we start getting the impression this is a changeling. And then we end up switching back to Raffi, and Raffi's acting like and Jack's been knocked out, by the way. Let's go back to Raffi. Raffi's playing bad cop in the situation with this guy, and he's shaking. Raffi thinks that he's withdrawing because he hasn't had the drugs in a while. And then Worf ends up being good cop. It was really weird seeing their dynamic in this way. I really enjoyed it. The guy was trying to get away. We're gonna find out in a second why. So let's go back to the Titan. And oh wait, actually no. Now, back to the Titan. They find Jack. They're getting in the sick bay, and then Picard finds out, and then we get Picard getting into the transport to go over there. And again, he says sick bay, and you just think those 17 seconds that it takes him to go over there. Jack could be dead by the time he gets over there. Like, he doesn't know what's about to happen. This is his first time as a father having to deal with this, and damn, it was crazy. Luckily, back in sickbay, they were able to save Jack, so no, that was great right there. We then end up going back to Raffi and Worf, and now we find out that the person that they captured is a changeling. So it seems like someone might be trying to bring back the Dominion War. We're not sure. This one's crazy, guys. This one's crazy. So then the Shriek shows up again. But what they end up doing is they do this really cool thing where they know where the leak is, and they kind of trap the Shriek somewhere, thinking like, oh, that's where the ship's actually at because it's following that leak. And they cover up the leak, put a trap, and then they were going to try and run away. But then the changeling that was on the Titan ends up blowing up a bomb that ends up getting rid of their warp drive, so they can't even escape that way. Picard tells them, hey, let's just go in there, like, we have to fight now. So they turn around, but the Shriek's turned around as well. They fire the shot at the Shriek. The Shriek fires its weapon, the portal thing, and then that portal turns on behind the Titan, and it knocks the Titan out. And it's a crazy thing that happens, and you can see Riker is visually pissed. He is pissed off with Picard. He turns around and says, get off my, I'm paraphrasing, remove yourself from my bridge. You've killed us all. And that's how the episode ends. You see this Titan free falling, which I don't get how it's falling if there's no gravity in space, but whatever. They also said that this thing is might be a living organism. We don't actually know if that's a nebula or it's a living being. We don't actually know. But guys, that was crazy right there. Seeing Riker just lose it with Picard right there. I'm excited for episode 4. I cannot wait. But that's all I have for this episode, guys. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Please like and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I'm hoping you guys are enjoying the season as much as I am, because I am loving this right now. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.